Oti region was created from the northern part of the Volta region. The region is considerably drier than southern Ghana due to its nearness to the Sahel and the Sahara. Oti region has a predominant grassland vegetation, especially the savanna, with clusters of drought-resistant trees such as baobabs and acacia. The struggle for the creation of the region was met with pronounced opposition and was the most resisted among the 6 newly created regions from both within and without.
We felt genuinely that, in fact, development had been skewed drastically in favor of the South. That marriage was not, couldn't be described as a successful marriage. We were suffering.
Surrounded on the north by the northern region, to the south by the Volta region, and to the west by the Volta Lake, the fifth petition, spanning over 4 decades, capped the final decider for the region's creation was a referendum held in December 2018. Determined to leave the Volta region, inhabitants of the enclave came out in their numbers on that fateful day, recording 88.33% voter turnout and thereby bagging 98.64% yes votes.
Now to Oti. Of the number of registered voters, 96 persons voted yes in favor of the creation of a new region. This represented 98.64%, and the percentage for the no was 0.89%. The percentage of yes votes stood at 98.64%. Thus, Oti passed the test.
The landmass of Oti region as it stands now is bigger than the Volta region. For now, the region has Biakuye, Jiasikai, KJB, Nkwanta North, Nkwanta South, Krachi East, Krachi West, as well as Krachi Nchumuru as its districts. Soon, Central Kofi, Akpapu, Lolobi, and Lipe, commonly referred to as the Sal area, will be included to the region to make it 9 districts.
They are part of Oti, except that because of the previous arrangements, they don't seem now to fall into any particular existing district or municipality within the Oti region. But as I said, they're going to have a district of their own. And they will have to get a district capital. And invariably, the location of the capital has been the subject of controversy and whatever. We want to avoid that. And that is why I have made this recommendation to them, that if we have representatives from each of the 4 traditional areas, we tell the chiefs, the opinion leaders, you get about 3 or 4 from each traditional area. They should engage and see whether they could agree through dialogue on where the district capital should be located.
The River Oti is an international river in West Central Africa which rises in Benin and forms the border between Benin and Burkina Faso, then flows through Togo and joins the Volta Lake in Ghana. Oti predates the Akonsombo Dam. Before the construction of the Akonsombo Dam, the area was a thick forest with wild and dangerous animals and inhabited by native hunters around the 1900s. The river is said to have different names in different areas and passes through several districts in the region: Nkwanta North, Krachi Nchumuru, Krachi West, Dambai in Krachi East, and becomes the Volta at Biakuye. There are different stories to the meaning of the name Oti. One account says Oti is an Inchumru word which means blocked. It continues that in those days, people in the area were mostly hunters who went hunting around the river, which was then a narrow one. The hunters were sometimes chased by wild animals. Once they managed to cross the river, they left the animals that were chasing them behind. So they would say, Inchu Otibom, that is, the river or water has blocked them. Similarly, during wars, once they managed to cross the river, they left behind their enemies, and again they would say, Nchu Atibom. In settling on a name for the region, they looked for something that unifies them and found it in the river Oti, the water body which goes through almost all the districts and all the way into Togo. Today, it is commonly known as Oti. On the other hand, Dambai in Karachi East is the capital of the Oti region. Around the 1900s, Dambai land then stretched up to Burai. In coming to present-day Dambai, the native hunters had to wrestle with dangerous animals. Those who prevailed over the animals were considered bold, brave, and possessed some form of spiritual powers. Dambai literally translated in Inchunu as Fiadamfra Ba. In other words, if you are mature, strong, bold, and brave, come over. Or, if you are man enough, come over. Hence, the name Dambai. The first settlers of Dambai arrived around 1906 from Burai. Only the old and brave who overpowered the animals could go and live at Dambai. Endowed with so much, yet for some reasons, Oti lagged behind in all spheres.
That area where we call Oti region now was left undeveloped. And therefore, our people started to migrate from the area to other parts of Ghana. And the place became depopulated. Apart from that, the Oti region suffered the most when the Volta Lake was created. But when the Volta Lake was created and electricity was coming, the Oti region was the last to get connected to the national grid. Why? So we started asking all these questions. Why is Oti region left like that?
Following the construction of the Volta Lake, fishermen from other parts of the country migrated into the area, creating their own communities along the Volta Lake. Described as a rainbow region due to its multicultural composition, Oti is made up of almost 20 tribes. The region was officially inaugurated on 15th May 2019.
I want first of all, on behalf of the rest of the people of Ghana, to congratulate you very warmly on the manner in which you went about the creation of the region. You voted peacefully, you voted according to law, you respected convention, you respected law. Despite all the negative words of intimidation, of threats of violence, of war, unnecessary language, you kept your peace and your dignity, and on the appropriate day, you went out and cast your ballot, and you used your thumb to do so and brought about Oti region.
Sighting of the regional capital was also received with mixed reactions.
Oti region de babia modi akone de penisa. Em say atom free ma obia region nyina obia fi babi ba bia koye o.
Kwazao, Nkwantao, Obi every baby bar, and shot.
Reasons for the creation of the region by government is to deepen decentralization and to accelerate development of the area, among others. The population of Oti, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, is projected to be around 778,456 by the close of 2019. The creation of the region comes as good news to both the young and old.
We are now on our own, so we can now develop the district. When it creates employment for the people, maybe our parents can also join and get money to pay our school fees.
It will help our district so that it will develop.
Or getting facilities in this district or region.
We are pleading to them that they should try as much as they can do to construct the Eastern Corridor Road for us, and then also get us some facilities for the district.
I would like to see this region by 5 years to 10 years, fully grown by roads, schools, health, and other infrastructure that we need as a region.
At first, when we were under Volta, it means that the cake that used to come there was so small that couldn't reach us. Now, we have divided ourselves from them. We have our own region. It means that the cake that will be shared here, each and every person will at least have a little bit of it. And our communities here will benefit as a whole.
Previously, before somebody would travel from Nkwanta to Ho, it would take you maybe 5 hours. And when you get there, they don't see us as part of them. When, let's say, you are going for interview, if you cannot speak the same dialect, they discriminate, against you. Today, for me to travel from Nkwanta to Dambai, it will take me less than 1 hour. So I'm very happy to have an Oti region.
Expectations are indeed high. Oti is widest at Dambai and somehow central, hence it attracts a lot of economic activities. The best of the region's organic yam comes from Nkwanta North, yet the district is deprived in all scopes.
We are seriously deprived. Everybody wants to be at a place where he or she thinks he'll be comfortable. Technocrats, anytime they receive postings, some of them work their way out and they won't come. Infrastructure-wise, you can see our assembly. The assembly was created in the year 2008 during former President Kufuor's tenure. Since then, look at the structures. We are still in-house in this particular structure. Because of this, some of these things are not motivating. If people come here and they see this kind of structure, they feel very, very demotivated.
The region is one of the food baskets of the country. Its vegetation is suitable for the cultivation of a variety of organic crops, vegetables, and cereals. Cash crops such as cocoa, coffee, cashew, oil palm, soya beans, and sorghum, cowpea, yam, cassava, cocoyam, plantain, rice, maize, ginger, tiger nuts, sugarcane, citrus, and vegetables of all kinds do well in Oti region. The region has one of the biggest farmers' markets for yam. The region has potentials in planting and growing food to achieve food self-sufficiency.
Our intervention one is to help with poverty alleviation, because with our operation we need a lot of women to help us. And once women are brought in to help leverage the pressure on the family, and we're working on that, bring women who will help with the packing of the yam. We're doing cocoa yam too, we're doing potatoes, we're also doing cassava. All will be for export fresh from here to Europe. And we think with that intervention to bring them on board to create some economic activity for them to. Well, I think the farming season is just about 5 months. After that is drought and nothing else. So with our intervention, they will have work to do throughout till another farming season comes. And we think that will help alleviate poverty.
A larger percentage of roads in the Oti enclave cannot pass as roads in the real sense. The situation is unacceptable.
Abana wo so sesia no ye panachew we dey adesrede na ye dituna ni wonhwe na wonye kwan no mai na say ye cars
When brand new car we are take right. You're the first way in premium, you know. I'm say any why. T.S. Reno. On share no here find my through. How white to just kind road. And why cry.
Car and camera is shaking. This is due to the nature of the roads. Most roads in the Oti enclave are just like this, unmotorable. Cars are broken down. Drivers spend hours instead of minutes on the roads. Pregnant women, you cannot talk about them. In front of me is a broken down car. The driver has been on the road for the past 3 days. For how long would roads in Oti remain as such?
At the carry load, at the go Germany, I can't pass over to Pando. So at the pass through to just kind to Bori to Hohoi. Even since today is 3 days where the car can spoil for. I know reach the second town of the Bori. At the first town and then the second town middle where the car can spoil. So we did that. Right now with the can do and then we continue again. From here to over there, in fact, the road is too bad for us.
As one of the country's food baskets, the nature of roads leaves farmers poorer as they are unable to cut their farm produce to the marketing centers.
We are conveying the maize to the town. But because we don't have cars, we have to use motorbikes. The road is not good, so cars don't want to come here. Because whenever they come here, they get problem. So we have to use motorbikes. Even motorbikes is not easy for us, but we are trying our best. What we are seeing here is very small. If the rain should fall here heavily, you yourself, your cars, you see that you find it difficult to pass here. So cars do pass that side to Hohoi. You see that the road is not good at all.
This is a common sight to find broken down vehicles in most areas of the Oti region.
As a result of the abandoned project that they've not completed, we ought to use a 40-kilometer road bypass, and even that one we cannot even go through smoothly. So you can see, as we are trying to help a colleague fix his car, this is just one of the incidents we've been going through every blessed day. You have to stop, fix the car, and continue your journey. So we appeal to the government to come back to us and help us complete the routes. The contractors have come. The rate at which they are working doesn't show that they will be able to even finish before this rains takes over again.
Education in Oti is below standard. Most educational infrastructure is made of mud. Others are dilapidated, and yet still others will easily pass for pens for animals. Unfortunately, in some cases, some school toilet facilities look better than school buildings. There is a general low level of school infrastructure, especially furniture, in the region. At the basic level, the region has 571 KGs, 573 primary schools, and 297 junior high schools. Oti has 28 senior high schools, 1 nurses training college, 2 teacher training colleges, and has no university. Currently, there are over 100 educational infrastructure projects ongoing across all 8 municipal and district assemblies in the region.
We're also providing classrooms, furniture for schools to make sure that our children have a sound education, because it is from education that when people are well-educated, well-educated people will understand what development is and then be able to facilitate things that will bring about development.
When it comes to girl child education, Oti, we need a lot. Because our women here need education. Some are very talented when it comes to the handiwork, they are very talented in that. So we are pleading that there should be more vocational opportunities for the young women here to partake in that.
We have a lot of classrooms that are without teachers. That is to say, we have classrooms or pupils sitting down with their teachers. In some schools, for instance, you have around 2-3 teachers manning from KG1 to primary 6, which is a very bad situation. So this doesn't promote teaching and learning, effective teaching and learning at all. Government should make sure that she provides educational infrastructure and logistics. Government, again, should train and then post more teachers to the municipality. And here, Assembly can also come in to sponsor qualified applicants to go and study in our teacher training institutions, so that when they come out, it will be mandatory for them to come and serve in the municipality. And so we shall be reducing the vacancies that we have in the municipality.
Environmentally, Oti has issues with pollution of water bodies, poor waste management, unplanned settlements, just to mention but a few. In the health sector, the rise in its population is getting to a level where existing amenities are no longer correspondent to the population growth. The region has a total of 149 health facilities, of which 6 are hospitals, 33 health centers, 95 chip compounds with 15 clinics. Apart from this, the sector has inadequate health personnel and staff accommodation. There are 9 doctors, 9 medical assistants, 48 midwives, and 249 community as well as public health nurses. As a multicultural region, religiously, Oti has Christians, Muslims, as well as traditionalists, and is home to Krachi Dente, once the most powerful deity in the country and in the sub-region. Culturally, the Yam Festival, Tora Sunke, Kuswe, the Guinea Corn Festival, Gidipon Festival are some of the festivals celebrated in the region. The Saru and Gazo, Akwantutentine Festival, Kuntunkunu, Baya, Atikoti are some dances of the people of the Oti region. The remnants of the German colonial administration bloc, the Chabobo National Park, the Oli Breast Mountain in the country, the Kabu and Peposi Forest Reserves, a monkey sanctuary, the volcanic lake and some abandoned sites and yet to identify sites are the tourist attractions of the region. With goodwill and determination, these can be developed to rake in money for the development of the region.
Where we're standing right now is in the middle of the Accra, Krachi, Tamale main road. Yeah, and on my left here, the remains that you see used to be the prison's gate during the German rule. The opposite here is their law court. You go ahead a little, used to be a clinic. It's a T-junction. You turn left, you go to Krachi Krom, which used to be the chief's palace. And behind me here used to be the German administrative block, but it's been modified. Where you came from, so you see the military establishment there. That huge structure, which has now been ripped off, used to be the German commissioner's residence.
The woes of the region include, but not limited to, bad roads and lack of potable water.
We are living in between 2 rivers, yet we are drinking from a borehole. Our students go to fetch water and died in the lake, yet Krachi is not drinking from the lake. We are using a mechanized borehole. And when we are in the dry season, the well totally dried up and becomes a problem. So people will have to go and the raw lake as a drinking source of water and at the same time as fishing. So these are the 2 major issues such that the assembly, our funds, will not be able to do it unless the central government come to our aid.
It is to take their destinies into their own hands that the people fought for the creation of the region. Already, plans are far advanced to ensure swift development.
This government said that they want to make the private sector the major engine of growth. And I am from the private sector, and therefore I know what I'm talking about. And therefore, we expect the government to initiate programs that will help the private sector to grow. And in that, maybe I can mention to you that already the Oti Regional Coordinating Council and the Joint Consultative Committee of the Oti Movement, of which I'm the coordinator, have initiated moves to have the first Oti Region Trade and Investment Fair somewhere in October. I hope it will be successful. And that will open up the region for a lot of investors to see the potentials in the region.
Power brokers have started engaging political leaders in the region to chart the way forward.
That's after the CI was presenting to the chiefs and people in the Jubilee House. It's our duty to come around and see the state of affairs after Mr. President's visit. But it's still important that what has to be done, we will coordinate and make sure that things are done with minimum or no bureaucracy to delay the agenda Mr. President wants us to follow through.
Some investors have started trooping into Oti to identify where they fit in and possible challenges and how to overcome them.
This place has a very good land for yam because of its fertilizer free, and you can keep it for a long time. It has a really long lifespan. Even if you sell for export companies, a month or two, it will still be very fresh. So that is a major reason why I chose this part of Ghana to procure my yams from. And because the land is good and always we are getting the quality we want, now we want to set up our farm here and also employ some of the people here also to help the assembly grow.
At times when you have business to do and you have to wait for the pantu, it's a bit stressful. You have to wait for hours and hours and hours before the load. They go for a trip and come back. Maybe you just want to cross and do something quick. And you could see the island you're going to just about some few meters away, but you just can't get to it because it's the inconveniences, and you have to wait for other cars to pile up before the load. They can't take you alone. At least you need to be 10, 15 before it moves. And it takes hours to do that. So I suggest a bridge also.
We are entertaining some fears that maybe when the bridge is constructed, the volume of economic activity within the capital may reduce. Because from experience, when a bridge is constructed, many of the vehicles that used to stop and drop some money or improve upon or enhance the economic activity within the capital may just drive across and go without stopping. And that may negatively impact on economic activities within Dambai, the capital. Yes, because it may also increase vehicular traffic. And the more vehicles come around, the more economic activities we may expect.
Ghana now is ready for investment, and the growth of the movement in invest is very high to investor in all over the world. So I come to Ghana to see on the nature and to see the land that I can to obtain, and I decide what I can to do for Ghana.
Dambai, I will invest at fish farm.
In the field of fish, yes.
Fish farm and chicken farm. Okay. Yes, because in Egypt we have business like this, but I come for Ghana, and Ghana is a very nice country. I like it too much, so I wanted to do business here.
This has led to the influx of people to the region. The hospitality industry seems to be booming.
Before the announcement of Dambai as the regional capital, We used to struggle a bit with patronage, but immediately the announcement was made. From that very week, we realized that the movement of people towards Dambai, which is the capital, has increased significantly. So I think the creation of the region has impacted positively on the industry. Currently, we have 22 rooms, and taking into account the inflow of visitors, I don't think we are able to meet the demand. Whether we like it or not, there's going to be competition. And I think a lot more people have started venturing into the industry. So I believe there's going to be competition, and very stiff competition for that matter. We are positioning ourselves to be able to meet the competition. As you can see, we have started upgrading the facility and then raising our standards so that when the competition comes, we'll be able to also play within the competitors.
For the people of Oti, it is a call to duty. Traditional rulers have begun meeting with the regional minister for the way forward. For them, the need for all to live in peace is the trump card for any developmental agenda.
The first and foremost is to get the people united for peace to prevail, so we can together support the government and development area. You know, where there is misunderstanding, always there is this problem of coming together and people litigating, fighting among themselves. It's difficult for the government to develop the area.
We need development, and development is land. Traditional rulers all over Oti, we have land.
It's not that you say you want a hospital. They grant it and you cannot get land. And we must be able to make sure that wherever we are giving is litigation free, so that work will progress, quickly.
The story of Oti cannot be told without the ferry over the lake. The ferry serves as the safest form of transportation, linking some of the districts. Operators are poised to contribute to the speeding up of the region's turnaround for good.
I have plans to increase my number of trips, and then I'm always standby for anybody who comes late. I'm ready for that one too, because here is a regional capital. It's a business center too. People go out and comes in. So I have to be always available.
With a regional security council in place, all security posts are at post.
Our first and foremost task is to set up the Dambai Regional Office, which we are in the process of doing that. We coordinate affairs of the region to the borders, expand our presence here, make sure that the conditions at the frontiers, especially at the outposts, are improved, so that officers and men can have little comfort to do their work there.
In case of fire or any emergency, we are functional in all the districts, so we can respond to emergencies within the response time. Apart from that, we also engage in fire safety education, fire certification, and then also make sure that we strictly apply the fire precautionary law. Our main aim is to reduce fire outbreaks. If fire doesn't occur, there will not be destruction, there will not be loss of life. So these are the things we are doing, and we keep reviewing it and then revising it as and when.
The challenges are that once it's a new region, we need infrastructure. We need to beef up the personnel, and the stations, we have to renovate it to put it into shape. The patrols will be intensified. Once patrol is intensified, we will make more barriers, snap checks, so I assure them that everything will be under control.
The negative narrative of Oti is set to change. Its potentials are enormous.
In terms of investment opportunity, we've identified 4 main items. We have the Just Can Cocoa initiative. It's a project that we've designed with a business plan on it, that we are looking for investors to come in. We actually identify a German investor. It's a $50 million project. But per the government concept on 1D, 1F, we need a Ghanaian promoter to join. We've identified that also. But they're having a challenge of raising their counterpart funding, which is $2 million. The Germans are bringing 48 million, the Ghanaians bring 2 million, and then the project starts. It's a multi-purpose agro-processing plant to process cocoa, coffee, cashew, shea nut, and all those agro products. Then also, we did an investigation. There's a high deposit of a clay material in one of the communities called Bodada. That clay is excellent for the production of tiles for the construction industry. That also the Assembly has done adequate business plan on it, and we are looking for an investor to partner. We also have the potential for cassava. The chief and people gave us 20,000 acres of land, and the Assembly surveyed 5,000, ready for any investor to take. Again, that also we did business plan on it, looking for investors to partner. Then we have ecotourism. There's a forest and a mountain. The forest is over a river. So we are building canopy walkway for about some 2 kilometers. That we have gotten a partner, but the Assembly is not having the capacity to, so we are looking for an additional partner to be able to roll that out. These are investment opportunities available in the district.
If we can have a cassava factory, something that will turn our cassava into maybe starch and other things. We are also looking at a piggery. If we can have a meat processing, because we have good land and a few individuals have come up, that we are still looking at their proposals to put up a piggery on a very vast land that is between Kwame Krom and Abotuasi. Yes. So we are looking at these 2 areas.
To make Oti a model region for all, some major land areas have been set aside for planning into parks and recreational areas, industrial, a fishing harbor, educational areas, residential, government administration, and more.
We are working hard to establish all the units, departments, agencies of the Regional Coordinating Council, and we are also putting in place a well-prepared scheme to redefine the township and also develop the new areas that will be accommodating the government structures for administrative purposes and also for commercial and other investment activities that will be taken off very soon in the region. We envisage that by the end of this year, all the plans will have been prepared and approved by the Regional Coordinating Council for implementation. We so far receive a lot of goodwill from investors who are showing interest to invest in the region, especially in the regional capital.
Oti region has a rice mill and a palm oil processing factory and a number of food processing centers.
Where we have had a challenge is with from the sales side of our product, which is palm oil. The current state of the road, in fact, prevents buyers from coming. And sometimes when they have to come, we have to give them a lot of discount before we can draw them, because the person may be coming from Tema mainly to lift. And with the current road, the state of the road, in fact, you have to give sometimes as high as 30% discount before the buyer will be ready to come and lift.
Oti is barely 3 months, yet leadership is poised about its developmental agenda and already in motion.
Where we are sitting in is my office. The furniture we have here is a furniture that is supposed to have been for the coordinating director for the municipal assembly. But it's because we don't have any furniture yet. This is what we are using for now. And we are yet to even renovate the place to suit the status of the regional coordinating council. But it's a process. Because it's a process, the procurement processes, we are still going through them.
Oti Region has an airstrip ready to be utilized.
As I speak, we have an airstrip. If government or investors can come and develop the airstrip, and along the lake, you build the hotels there, I'll tell you, Krachi will be the Monaco for Ghana instead of Monaco for France.
The message from Oti to all Ghanaians is:
we have enough arable land that can be irrigated. The chiefs have given us 500 hectares of land, and this land is located at the former state farms. I'm pleading with all people who are interested in cashew production, mango production, soya bean production, beekeeping, to come and take advantage of this land so that we'll help the deprived nature of the district.
The place is an agrarian area. And so when people can, there's free land, people can make farms. Those who accept postings here, after 1, 2, 3 months, when you ask them to go back, they won't like to go back. We have workers here who are engaged in farming, the yam farming, cassava farming, grains, whatever. And so by the next 2, 3 years, you tell the person to go, you don't want them to go. So I want to take this opportunity to ask all investors to come here. I mean, technocrats, anybody, right from education, health, teaching. The place is a very nice and a very interesting area.
Biakoye is now out of the old, where we're having this Alavanyu Nkonya thing. Now, Biakoye, we don't have that. We are living as one people. And so nobody should be scared, especially investors. They should come and open up their businesses so that we can also be employed. They shouldn't fear. There is nothing like Nkonya Alavanyu now in Biakoye.
Because of the peculiar circumstances of Oti, we insist as traditional rulers that we be given a hearing in the management of the region. You know the youth, they are in a hurry. But our advice, and I think they also understand, that we cannot get development overnight. It takes time, and government processes take time. So at least we should be able to allow the government to go through. You know what so many things that happen because they didn't go through tender processes well. The goodwill is there, the intention is there, but there are certain procedures that you cannot skip. And all these things take time.
For the youth, most of them are prepared to work, but they don't have the necessary training, the necessary capacity to really take on the jobs that the people who are going to establish the companies are. So we want to see this type of development, vocational training, technical training, and so forth, develop in the Oti region. And we are going to talk to them. You don't just say that I am here, I want work. If you want work and you don't have the capacity and the training, you only become a laborer or a cleaner or something, and that's not what we want for people.
Location of the regional capital had been the subject of great controversy among our people. But those who perhaps did not get their claims through seem to be quite aggrieved. Our assurance to them is that we're going to design and pursue a development pattern that will be a paradigm shift from the old one, where every institution and organ of state and government will be located in the regional capital. We're not going to do that as much as it is possible, with the exception of the key institutions and organs of state and government. We would spread other developments across. the region. And we believe that will also help in bringing about development.
Oti Region is ready to storm the nation with its new paradigm shift of development to make it the preferred destination for serious investors. Looking for a region to invest? Look not beyond Oti, the only rainbow region in the country.